In this video, we're going to be talking about 3 productivity hacks that I guarantee you've never heard before. And even if you heard about the concepts, you never heard about their applicability when it comes to productivity. Now let me tell you, this is not a video where I'm going to be telling you that you need to set a schedule. You already know that you need to do that you need to be consistent. These are concepts you already know. All these top 10 ways to become more productive videos are going to tell you about the exact same things. Drink your water, remove distractions. We already know this. So let's get to the bread and butter. Let's get to the core of what actually makes you productive. And this is based on a decade of experience in productivity and personal development. So without any further ado, let's get to it. Number 1, you might have heard of something called the Pareto distribution or the 80-20 principle. Now, this is one of the most fascinating statistical and mathematical formulas that exist in our universe, and we can't really explain it. It's basically, before explaining how it applies in productivity, just to understand the Pareto distribution itself. Let's take wealth as an example. 80% of the wealth in the world is owned by roughly 20% of the people. 80% of the population occupies roughly 20% of the cities. So in any given country, the majority of the population is concentrated within the capital and major cities. So 80% of the population lives in 20% of the areas. When we talk about major corporations and employment rates, 20% of the major corporations employ roughly 80% of the population. And in any given company, 20% of the employees are responsible for 80% of the results. So those go hand in hand, right? And this Pareto distribution principle, a mathematical and statistical formula that exists in the world, and we don't know why it works the way it does, but we know that it does. There's a symmetry and a synchronization between the way this formula and the statistical formula applies in the world that we're just like, all right, there is a big question mark there. Now, when I first heard about the Pareto distribution, I got really curious and I started doing a lot more research on it, right? And that's when I stumbled upon how it applies when it comes to productivity. And here's the interesting part that you came for. 80% of your results will come from 20% of the work. I'm going to say that again. 80% of your results are going to come from 20% of the work. How? Let's say you're trying to start a business, okay? If you spend your time focusing on social media, if you spend your time focusing on customer service, you focus your time focusing on building the website and making marketing material, you're putting the majority of your focus and energy on the 80% of the work that only brings in 20% of the results. Because if you're trying to start a business, the most important factors are sales and marketing, especially if it's a startup. If you want to grow a startup, you need cash flow, you need sales. That's how the company grows. So somebody who's being productive and using the Pareto distribution in building a business would focus the majority of their efforts on the 20% that brings the 80% of the results. All right? So 80% of the results are coming from 20% of the effort. And this effort includes marketing, it includes sales, and it includes maybe recruitment. When you look at it this way, what I want you to take from this first hack is that you need to apply the Pareto distribution in your life to become more productive. So whatever you're trying to do, ask yourself the following question. What is the 20% of the work that I need to focus on that brings in 80% of the result? Or what are some of the things, the main 3 things I do that bring in the majority of the results? And then you need to start focusing on those and hammering down on those first. So when you first start your day, start with those. Start with sales, marketing, HR, because they're more important than social media. And once you're done with your priorities, then you can focus on the 80% of the remaining work that only brings in about 20% of the results. Now, when you do that, you are being more productive because you are focusing on the work that is actually producing results. And that's by definition what productivity is. The second productivity hack that I want to talk about is the power of the compounding effect. Albert Einstein said, if there's a sixth wonder in the world, that's probably compounding effect. Him who knows it benefits from it, and him who doesn't pays it. Now, let me give you an example. If you take one single penny and you double it every day for 30 days, how much money do you think you're gonna have if you double a penny? One penny, you double it for 30 days. How much money do you think you're gonna have by the end of the 30 days? Think about it. All right, you ready for the answer? Wait for it. Drum roll, please. At the end of the 30 days, you will have $5.3 million. Now, let's say you stopped at day 27, you will only have about $670,000. In only 3 days, you went from $670,000 to $5.3 million. How is that possible? Well, that's where the power of compounding steps in. That's the magic of compounding. And when we talk about productivity, the reason why the compounding effect or consistency in action is important is because of another concept that's called the 4 stages of learning. 4 stages of learning is how we as human beings learn. The first stage being unconscious incompetence. You are not conscious of your incompetence. You don't know what you don't know. Now, when you learn about that, you learn about cryptocurrency, for example, and now you know that cryptocurrency was something that you were never really invested in, that you never learned in the first place. You start learning about blockchain. And then you realize that blockchain is something you never heard of. It was part of your unconscious incompetence. You were unconscious that this is an area of incompetence. Now, once I told you about blockchain, you moved into the next level of learning, which is conscious incompetence. Now you are conscious of your incompetence. You know that there is an incompetence somewhere that you need to work on. So you start learning about blockchain and you start learning about cryptocurrency, and before you know it, you move into step number 3. You become consciously competent. So whenever somebody talks about cryptocurrency or blockchain in front of you, with a little bit of thinking, you're able to formulate phrases and talk about it, right? When you do that with enough repetition and you compound your results in actions, you move into the last stage, which is the mastery stage, unconscious competence. When somebody talks about blockchain or crypto, you don't even have to think about it. The information comes pouring out because you are unconsciously competent, so competent in fact, that you don't even have to think about it. So in the second hack for productivity, focus on the power of compounding. Because first, consistency will give you results that will compound day after day, and results that compound properly will go a lot stronger and will give you exponential results that you never expected. And second, the reason why it's important, it's because the more you do it and the more you have compounded action, the better you become at doing whatever it is you're trying to do. Number 3 comes from a book called Why We Do What We Do. And basically a lot of psychological research found that the best way to stimulate the human drive is through challenges. Now, a lot of you know that I'm doing the 75 Hard Challenge, and I can tell you it is not easy. 75 Hard goes for 75 days, where you have to do 2 workouts, read 10 pages, drink a gallon of water, take a progress picture, no cheat meals, you have to follow a diet, and you can't drink any alcohol. And I can tell you right now, okay, that I tried some of those challenges before. I tried some workouts, for example, doing a workout here and there, doing this, doing that, doing my reading, but I wasn't really consistent with it until it translated under the form of a challenge. I wasn't trying to impress anybody. I wasn't trying to compete with anybody else. It was me against me. And that's what I want you to focus on. It's you against you. When you want to achieve something and you want to really see how much you can push your productivity levels, put a challenge. Set a challenge for yourself. Let's say you're trying to write a book, right? And you've been inconsistent. You haven't been as productive as you've been wanting to be. You want to write 5 pages a day, but you're only writing 2.5. Set a challenge. For the next 30 days, you're going to do everything in your power to write those 5 pages. Let's say you want to make a YouTube channel and you've been inconsistent with your posting. Set a challenge that for the next 30 days, every single day I'm going to post a video. What you do is you're challenging yourself, and even if you fail the challenge, it is fine. You never actually fail the challenge until you give up on it. If you fail one day and you weren't able to write 5 pages or you weren't able to do your 2 workouts, start the challenge again from day 1. And do that again and again and again until you hit that day 30 or day 75 or day 40, depending on what challenge you're trying to do. Now, what I can guarantee you is that when you're doing that in a form of a challenge, you are first combining the first 2 hacks unknowingly. Because first, you are focusing on the 20% of the work that brings in 80% of the results. 1, you're using the Pareto distribution. Number 2, you are using the power of compounding results. You are first compounding your results through the consistency of doing the challenge every single day. And number 2, since you're doing it every single day, you are moving yourself through the stages of learning all the way up to the mastery level. So if you did this challenge and you were writing 5 pages a day every day for 30 days, at the end of the 30 days, your writing skills will be a lot better than how they started. Your video making and video editing skills will be a lot better. Your fitness level, your physique will be different. Everything will be different because of the power of the compounding results. So the third hack that I want you to keep in mind and take advantage of is challenge yourself. You will never know how productive you can really be until you put in some challenge. Challenge yourself, push your limits, and don't stop. Even if you fail, again, failure is not when you fail a day, it's when you quit the challenge. So by all means, don't quit. Set a challenge, stick to it. Keep going at it every single day. If you fail, repeat, start back from day 1 and go again until you hit your goals. Thank you all very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed those 3 productivity hacks that I guarantee you never heard before. And if I'm true and you didn't really hear about those productivity hacks before and you think they're actually useful, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, as I'm doing a 30-day video uploading series where I'm going to be uploading a video every single day. So hit that subscribe button and that notification button so you can get notified of whenever there's a new video up and running. I wish you all a beautiful day, and I'll see you all in the next video.